Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Broken Crayon Still Color Podcast. I am your host, Tara, and it's been a whole month since I've seen you guys. A lot has happened in that month. I know the last time I did like a little video, I had some issues with my eye, but we are healthy and whole. My eye is back to normal. My vision is back. Um, and so I'm back. So as we get into today's episode, I struggled with finding a title. I have plenty of topics, plenty of titles, plenty of things to talk about, but the issue is finding what time to talk about what. So I decided to make today's topic one in which it's kind of like an open mic free talk topic, but at the same time, it's going to have balance. So today's topic is going to be a beautiful mess. Earlier this week, I came across a memory on Facebook that was a picture of myself. The picture was taken during my early college years, maybe first or second year, I can't really tell. And in the picture, I noticed that I looked exhausted. Now, granted, some of you may say, "Well, you were in college, you probably were exhausted." But it wasn't a physical exhaustion, it was a mental exhaustion. My eyes looked dead, my demeanor looked tired. I just looked miserable. And I immediately went back to the time that the picture was taken and what was going on in my life, physically and spiritually and everything surrounding, during that period of time. And I realized that most of my exhaustion came from trying to be perfect, trying to make sure all of my I's were dotted and all of my T's were crossed, and I was doing everything I was supposed to do. And, I looked at the picture and I laughed, and I sent the picture out to a couple of people that knew me around that time. I actually compared it with a picture of myself currently, present day. Um, and everyone pretty much said the exact same thing, like, "Oh, you know, you look tired, you look depressed," and things of that nature. And if one thing I wish I could do, I'll say this one thing I wish I could do. The woman I am today, if the woman I am today could go back and talk to that young adult I was in that picture, she would apologize to her. She would apologize to her for neglecting her, for subjecting her, for making her feel like she had to when she didn't, um, in regards to anything. She would apologize to her for making her feel like she had to be perfect when in reality she was okay with being an imperfect, perfect, beautiful mess. Yes, you heard me right. An imperfectly perfect, beautiful mess. And you may say, what does that mean? An imperfectly perfect, beautiful mess. You ever met someone and something that they deemed as an imperfection made them stand out to you? Like, for example, people with dimples. A dimple is an imperfection in the face. That's just a known fact. But whenever anyone sees a kid with dimples, my youngest daughter has a dimple, one dimple. She just has one on the side of her cheek. Whenever she smiles at someone that has never met her, sees a dimple, they immediately go, "Oh, she has a dimple," and it's something that draws people in. Naturally, it's an imperfection, but it draws people in. They say, "Oh," you know, people actually have surgery to get dimples placed in their face because they like the way it looks. They want dimples. Even though it's an imperfection, some people see it as something that's perfect and they desire it. An imperfectly perfect person is a person who understands that their flaws is what makes them perfect. Your flaws do not define you. Even in your flaws, you're perfect. Now, with me saying you're perfect, that does not mean, oh, you do everything right. Oh, you got your eyes dotted, your T's crossed. You're good. You're great. God loves you. I love you. Everything's good. That's not what I mean by perfect. You, me, everybody, we are imperfectly perfect in our own right, in our own flaws, the way we think, the way we act, the way we speak is imperfectly perfect. Why is it imperfectly perfect? Because it's how God made us. Oftentimes tell people, I have freckles. Growing up, I hated the freckles. Couldn't stand the freckles, wish the freckles would go away. As I got older, I realized not everybody has freckles. I got freckles, you know? Um, and what I saw as an imperfection actually defined it's a signature of me when someone says Tara. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, she has freckles on her face. Yeah, I know who she is. It's a defining tool that someone can use to describe who I am as a person. To me, it was imperfect. To someone else, it's perfect. You are imperfectly perfect. Your flaws, your hiccups, anything that you deem as, oh, I got a gap, you know, my nose is crooked, my skin is, my anything that you see as an issue is imperfectly perfect for you. It defines you. So the woman I am now would go back and tell the girl I was in that picture, you are an imperfectly perfect, beautiful man. And all your flaws and all your hiccups, you're striving to be perfect. And there is no such thing. It's unattainable. There's no perfect person walking around. Though at the time, I thought it was something that was attainable. I would go back and tell that person, you're stressing yourself out and the stress is showing. You're trying to be something, do something, create something that doesn't even exist. Calm down. Live in your truth. Love God, love people, love yourself. That's it. Love God, love people, love yourself. I think I mastered at the time loving God and loving people, but I don't think I quite knew how to love myself at the time. And that's where the issue came in. That's why the picture looks like how it does. I wasn't taking care of myself. And that's why I would go back and tell that girl, you're in a perfectly perfect, beautiful mess. You're doing everything for everybody. You're loving God, you're loving people. Whoa, but do you love yourself? And I grew up Christian, right? I grew up Christian. I grew up in the church, and I can't say that the church, and when I say the church, I mean Christians alike. I can't say that we really dwell long on getting people to understand the importance of loving themselves. My opinion. My opinion. Um, I don't think we really focus on that as much as we focus on loving God and loving others. And I think personally, now again, my opinion, I think personally that contributes to a lot of the reason why a lot of, you know, members in the church, especially young people, have self-esteem issues, you know, going through that phase of, am I enough? am I for the girls, am I pretty? For the guys, am I handsome? Um, you know, we love God, love people, love God, love people, love God, love people. Well, yeah, love God, love people, loving ourselves, taking care of ourselves. We don't really dwell on that a lot. And I think as we get older and as we start reproducing and having kids and our kids start having kids, we don't teach that principle. One thing I've learned so far, haven't quite learned everything yet because my kids are still fairly young. Having two girls is going to be a challenge for me. I recognize that early on for the simple fact that I don't think growing up I felt like I was enough as is. And let me explain what I mean when I said I don't feel like I was enough as is. Growing up in church, um, for girls, we had all the rules. um, and I was taught modesty, which is, you know, I don't knock it at all. I was taught modesty. But then when I became a woman, maturing from girl, teenager, young adult, full adult, um, there should have been a point in time where, okay, I need to start embracing being a woman. And I don't think I quite knew how to do that effectively, if that makes sense. So it was things that was self-taught, makeup, jewelry, um, you know, taking care of my hair, taking care of my skin, wearing things that didn't necessarily hug tight. Um, if you know me, no matter what I wear, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to hide too much of my shape. That's the real. That is what it is. Not being boastful, just stating the fact. Um, so it got to a point where I had to learn the balance between, okay, be modest but be graceful. Be modest but embrace your femininity. Be modest but remember that you're a lady. Act like a lady. Be a lady. Dress like a lady. Um, and so, just kind of reprogramming and teaching myself that and embracing that. Now that I have girls, it's just like, ew. Okay, so I'm going to have to be the one that, you know, teach this. Oh, how am I going to do that? I didn't quite, understand or grasp this concept until I got into, my full adult years. So now I'm going to have to teach this. But what age do I teach what? And so I'm struggling with that thought. And even now with my girls, when I'm getting dressed and I'm in the mirror, they'll get their stools and they'll stand on their stools and they'll act like they're putting on makeup especially my oldest, she'll play in my blush and she'll play in my highlighter and she'll act like she's putting on lip gloss and I want her to embrace that. I want her to know what that feels like. Not necessarily doing it at a young age, but I want her to know there's nothing wrong with that. If you choose to do it, fine. If you don't choose to do it, fine. But there's nothing wrong with that. Um, there's nothing wrong with taking care of yourself. Love yourself. Enhance yourself. You want to lose weight? Lose it. You want to gain weight? Gain it. Um, you know, I don't knock people who want to have any type of surgery to enhance their body or to, whatever you want to do. As long as you do it in a safe way and you do your research, go for it. Take care of yourself. Drink your water, moisturize your skin, exfoliate, mind your business. They tell me it helps you live longer. Just do whatever it is you need to do in order to take care of yourself. And I really don't think that's something, especially at that time, I knew. I didn't understand the concept of being an imperfectly perfect, beautiful mess. And I'm sure for the guys, I'm not a man, so I can't speak to it. But I'm sure you may all have the same issue as well where, okay, at what point do we cross over? At what point do we do all these things, trying to be perfect, trying to be upright, love God, love people, love yourself. Take care of yourselves too. Shave. If you have dreads, make sure they're retwisted. Anything that can help you maintain a level of security in your mind about yourself. A lot of people are walking around insecure, not necessarily because people made them feel insecure, but because within they don't feel secure in themselves about anything, about their looks, about their career choice, about where they are in life. And I think if a lot more people understand, like, hey, you're imperfectly perfect. You're putting so much stress on yourself for nothing. And really and truly, just say, hey, chill out, chill out. You're stressing for nothing. You're getting bent out of shape for nothing. Okay, yeah, we'll figure it out. Let's calm down. And I think a lot of it is due to, of course, the world is changing. The world is forever changing. Social media has made people feel like they can become a millionaire in minutes. And for some people that works. And for those people that is great. Congratulations to you. But that's not everybody's story. And if you continue to watch those things and yearn after those things, and say, "Well, why can't it happen to me? Why is that not my life? Why?" You yourself will become depressed and push yourself further than you need to push yourself and cause unnecessary stress on yourself. Chill out. Calm down. At this point in time, you are an imperfectly perfect, beautiful mess at this time. You want to change your career goals, you want to change your financial goals, take baby steps. I oftentimes tell people Rome wasn't built in a day. When I said I first wanted to do a podcast like blog type thing, it was 10 years ago, I think. I think it was 10 years ago. I'll have to ask Brent. I think it was about 10 years ago. And at the time, podcast wasn't a thing. Um, I think I said something along the lines of being a sportscaster. But whatever it was, I wanted to talk. I'm a talker. I like to talk. Um, and it took me that long to actually get to this point. Everything is not going to just, you're going to snap your fingers and it's going to happen. And if you put unnecessary stress on yourself to be something before it's time, you may never see it come to fruition because you've stressed yourself out so much that you stroke out before it even gets here. It is important to understand that where you are in this moment, this point in time, 3/16/2024 is where you're supposed to be. And if you feel like you're not supposed to be here at this point in time, 3/16/2024, do something about it. And if you choose to do something about it, baby steps. Okay, I need to change something about my life. What is it that you want to change? Let's say it's weight. Okay, what do you want to do with your weight? Well, I want to lose it. Okay, well, for the rest of the month, I'm gonna cut out carbs or I'm gonna cut out sugars. Or if that's too drastic, you know what? I drink a lot of sodas. Instead of drinking a soda, one soda every day, maybe I'm gonna drink a soda every other day. Baby steps. When I look back at the picture, I realized I was so drastically trying to be something. I was trying to be something. I was trying to be what everyone else wanted me to be, and it was uncomfortable for me. And it wasn't necessarily bad things. It wasn't that I was trying to be something bad per se. Um, but it was so much pressure, and it should not have been that much pressure for someone my age. So, an imperfectly perfect, beautiful mess. Now that I'm older, and some years have passed between that picture and now, I've come to a few realization of things. At this point in my life, now that I have, a clear understanding that I'm an imperfectly perfect, beautiful mess. And I've embraced that and not try so not to try and be so hard on myself. And I'm not saying I succeed every day with that, but I try not to be so hard on myself with certain things and certain goals in life. I try to connect with people who help me achieve that, who also don't feel a need to be so hard on themselves about things and goals that they try to accomplish. I made a post on Facebook, matter of fact, yesterday, um, about people that have access to you, making sure that they bring out the flight in you and not the fight in you. And that has been something that I've always kind of said periodically. Um, the people we connect with can either put more pressure on us than necessary or no pressure. I think it's always important to find a balance. If the people around me didn't question certain, ideas I said I had, you always need those people to be like, well, why do you want to do that? Okay, well, what's your steps? Well, what those people are important to you. You need those people. But you also need those people that be like, okay, if you feel in your heart need to go do it, go for it. Balance. Connect with people. And if you are people that, you know, let people have access to you, make sure that those people bring out the flight in you. Those people can elevate you, that can help you chill out, certain times. But they don't bring out the fight in you. They don't make you feel like you have to be something that you're not, or that you have to uphold some standard that it doesn't exist. Um, because that is stressful. We as humans, as adults, in this day and age already have a lot of stressors. Gas is going up, food is going up, just everything is going up. But salaries, but that's a different story for a different topic, for a different day, for a different podcast. Um, but we have enough stress on us as it is. The last thing we need to do is put unnecessary stress on us about something that we cannot control. There's a lot of things that we stress out about that is not in our control. The things that are in our control doesn't have to be fixed overnight. The things that can be fixed overnight, fine, fix them. The things that can't be fixed overnight, baby steps. Write it down. We are an imperfectly perfect, beautiful mess. And what I've learned with accepting that concept that even with all of my brokenness and with all of my, oh, I'm a beautiful mess, and with all of my hiccups and with all of my shortcomings and with all of the things that human beings may frown about, that God still looks at me as worthy, still looks at me as I can use you for something. You may say, well, how do you know that? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm still here, aren't I? You're still here, aren't you? So even in all of your brokenness, all of your mess, all of your shortcomings, everything, you can still be used for something. Don't let anybody make you feel like, oh, well, in order for you to accomplish anything in life, you have to be perfect because you're not perfect, you won't get there. There's a lot of unperfect people who have obtained great things in life simply because of their imperfectness. Their hearts were still pure. And I think that is what we should focus on. Yeah, of course. If something's not right and you want to get it right, fix it. But understand and know you are an imperfectly perfect, beautiful mess. You are not perfect. You are going to have shortcomings. You are going to have faults. You are going to have hiccups in life. That's just how things go. That's just how it goes. You're not going to cross every T and dot every I throughout your whole entire life. If if that was the case, there would be a bunch of perfect people walking around on earth. I don't know about you, there was only one perfect person, and well, yeah, that was it. As for me and you, we are not. Striving for perfection and being perfect are two totally different things. So, release the stress in your life by understanding that you are imperfectly perfect, beautiful mess. And you still can be used for whatever it is that you are supposed to be used for. Your assignment here on earth is waiting for you. And you will not leave this earth until you complete that assignment. And even in your imperfectly perfect, beautiful mess self, if you are supposed to complete that assignment in that state, you will. You will. Understand and know that this was not a topic that was supposed to, make up. I'm an imperfectly perfect, beautiful mess, and I'm going to stay right here because Tara said that being an imperfectly perfect, beautiful mess was okay. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, based on my picture in my Facebook memory, I understood what was happening in that picture. I was trying so hard for perfection that I was depressed. I was trying so hard to be perfect that I was depressed. So, how perfect was I with depression? How perfect was I with suicidal thoughts? How perfect was I? I had so many unnecessary stressors trying to be perfect, trying to sit up straight, and, back arch, neck tilted, walk right, and unnecessary stressors, trying to be perfect. But my mental was so messed up. So the point I'm making, understand that you're an imperfectly perfect, beautiful mess. Understand that. It's up to you whether, okay, I'm an imperfectly perfect, beautiful mess, and that's just how it's going to be, or I'm an imperfectly perfect, beautiful mess. And, you know, there's some things I really could change. Now, there's some things that's up to you. That's the conversation between you and you. But understand that you're an imperfectly perfect, beautiful mess. And life is all about learning lessons. How do we learn life lessons? Simple. We have to fall. When you were learning how to ride a bike, you fell a lot of times. When babies learn how to walk, they fall a couple times. It's the nature of glowing and growing. There are some things you're gonna fail, there's some things you're gonna fall in. It's just how that goes. And once you understand that I'm not perfect, I'm striving to be, but I'm not. I'm a beautiful mess. I still can be used. I still can go on. I still can go forth. You know, yes, you know, my family didn't go to college. I may have flunked out of college, but you know what? I'm going back to school. I may have gotten turned down from 10 jobs, but I'm going to apply for more. As long as you keep that drive to keep going, understanding that you're an imperfectly perfect, beautiful mess, but you got that drive to keep going and keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing, you'll always reach your destination. So now that we have come to the point where we have understood that we are an imperfectly perfect, beautiful mess, what do we do with that? What was the point? What was the point? You told me I'm an imperfectly perfect, beautiful mess. What's the point? What am I supposed to do with that information? You embrace it. And I can't tell you what to do with that information. You have to decide what you want to do with that information. No matter what you decide to do with that information, though, you will always and still be an imperfectly perfect, beautiful mess. Because no matter what you've done, what you're doing, what you're going to do, you still have a purpose. Whether your purpose is to be CEO of a company or, find the cure for cancer or stop world hunger, whatever extravagant purpose you have in life. Right now, you may be a imperfectly perfect, beautiful mess. You may not be that way always. And that's the point. You may not be that way always. Embrace it now. Work towards change if you see a need and move forward. My name is Tara. I thank you guys for joining me on a Broken Crayon Still Color podcast. And as we go throughout this week, I want you guys to always remember, stay true to yourself, always show up, and always be you. I will see you guys in 2 weeks. Take care.